Shalom, shalom. I want to give all praises, glory, and honor to Yahweh Bahashim, Yahweh Shai Bahashim, Rahakwadash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone who rule well. Peace, blessings, and salutations to you, sincere Akim out there, risking your life, laboring, all right, especially in the times that we're in now. And we can see, they're getting weak, man. They're getting weak, man. America, the beautiful, the democracy, and this cup, this cup which they fed to these other nations is now hurting them. All right, this cup, which was seen by the woman with the blonde hair, I believe she's clothed in scarlet. She's riding on the beast. Yeah, that cup of abominations. You got democracy in that cup. All right, abortion / feminism / women's rights over men. All right, all these different things, man. And these nations which are rising up, China, which is communist, Russia, which was communist, but then, they flipped to a democracy, but they still have elements of, communism because the government, pretty much runs them. All right. And, what you're seeing is, with this case, Roe v. Wade, which they're reviewing because their birth rates are low. All right, the curses are starting to jump on them now and off of us. All right, and call Allah Yahweh Ba'ashim, Yahweh Shai Ba'ashim Kakadash. All right, and man, it goes back to which, Esau, they've been doing this for longest, but legally, the legality started with Roe v. Wade in the 70s. Where it was illegal to have an abortion in Texas. And then the Supreme Court, in a 7-2 decision, affirmed the legality of a woman's right to have an abortion under the 14th Amendment of the Constitution. The court held that a woman's right to an abortion fell within the right to privacy protected by the 14th Amendment. The decision gave a woman the right to an abortion during the entirety of the pregnancy. All right, in any of the trimesters, because that's what they split it up into, trimesters. The scripture talk about, being fashioned in the womb for 9 months. Then there's a verse that says 10 months. All right, then with trimesters, you got the first trimester, which is the first set of 3 months, the second set of 3 months, and the third set of 3 months. All right, the decision gave a woman the right to an abortion during the entirety of the pregnancy and defined different levels of state interest for regulating abortion in the second and third trimesters, right? So Salakia, there's different levels of state it depends on where you are for regulation of aborting in the second and third trimester. All right, the ruling of law affected laws in 46 states, which is damn near all of them. All right, but the point being, basically, this was a precedent for giving a woman, right over life, right? Because, in the ancient world, when that woman's having that child, that's not just her child. Excuse me. But you have that's the man's child who planted that seed in there. All right, that's why you did with the Lord. He said, I am the root. Matter of fact, Isaiah 11:10. And in that day there shall be a root of Jesse, which shall stand for an ensign of the people. To it shall the Gentiles seek, and his rest shall be glorious. And we know Jesse was the father of King David. And that's what you dealt with in the scriptures, man. Your seed. And then eventually, like we saying now, man, your roots. Okay? We're part of this noble vine. You have all these different analogies for that. All right? And the scriptures say, this is, that the whole thing is just silly, man. Once the child is born, they say, oh, well, it's not formed yet. Yes, it is, man. It's a life. Okay? Hey, there's life in your sperm. Shit, when it goes into a woman, it lives there. All right, for up to a certain point. All right, that's why, that woman, you do that with that woman, your spirit begins to be put onto her. All right. And in the ancient world, they knew that, man. That's why that adultery shit is so pungent and foul. And out of that comes what? Disease. You got all these different men, all different, you know, different, sperm in a woman. All right. Dealing with this man, dealing with that man, creating confusion. All right, not a woman. She'd have been with 100 men, and she has the spirits of all these different men, and not just Jacob too. She got Esau, so she got Satan on her too. So that's why too. When you watch our women, when they get with Esau, they get weak, man. They don't age the same as when they were Jake. All right, they start to. I've heard reports where the womb, starts to get weaker. The body starts to weaken. I've seen one woman, she was kind of thick. When she was younger, she married Esau. Face dried up, her body dried. She wasn't looking the same, man, because it's not the same spirit. All right, you were made for us, but if you want to seek after him, go ahead. You could be destroyed with him. This is 2 Esdras 8. And it talks about birth. 8 and 7 will start up. It says, for thou art alone, and we all one workmanship of thine hands, like as thou hast said. All right, so ultimately, and the scriptures even say, you have one vessel for dishonor, one vessel for honor, talking about Jacob and Esau. The Lord fashioned him, created him. All right, created him for dishonor, but he created him still. All right. The other nations too created them to be as a drop in the bucket. Right, created them to do what they do. For when the body is fashioned now in the mother's womb, and thou givest it members, thy creature is preserved in fire and water, and 9 months doth thy workmanship endure thy creature which is created in her. All right? And so it mentions it, man. 9 months. But that which keepeth and is kept shall both be preserved, and when the time cometh, the womb preserved delivereth up the things that grew in it. All right, now this was being used as an analogy. All right, but that's how a child is created. All right, yes, that is it's life from the first trimester to the third. This is Wisdom of Solomon 7 and 1. And the whole thing, with when you look up the history of Planned Parenthood, it was created to eradicate and exterminate Jake. And they've never apologized for it. All right, that's why eventually, they started to give these women power and give them options and give them choices. All right, like the serpent did Eve. And then, they'll give the woman power over the family. They gave her the option, well, look, you have options, Planned Parenthood, which you're not planning to be a parent. You're planning to go in here and, get this abortion. All right. And what these Idumeans would do, before then, because they're contrary anyway, man. They've always been wicked, but they would go up in there with a coat hanger or with a hook or something and try to pull the baby out and just all kind of just sick shit. All right. No, and that's another thing too. All right, because this is a combination. This is why the Lord set up laws dealing with rape. All right, and that's going to make a lot of people emotional, but this is why. Because that's one of the primary arguments they try to use. Well, wait a minute, what if there's a rape? Doesn't she deserve to have an abortion then? And there's laws on rape. All right, there's laws on that. And things that were done in the ancient world. All right, we're not in the ancient world, so we're not, doing a lot of those things now. All right, we're not dealing with rape. But if that situation happened, which if the woman was under her household and under the protection and watch of her father in her house, all right, and her brothers or, whoever else was around, then rape wouldn't happen. Right? And that was, what I'm saying, if she cried out and that man, took her by force, then he's going to, and she was betrothed, then he's going to be put to death. Right? And that woman shouldn't be in the field in the first place. This is Ruth chapter 2, right? Because this is all through the scriptures, man. These are all people just like us. They deal with the same situations we deal with, all right? You have women in here who are hot, you know what I'm saying? The father was supposed to, scriptures talk about that. The father's supposed to choose, somebody to marry his daughter, right? The scriptures talks about that. Many a father has lost sleep basically over his daughter. It's a shame basically for a woman. Oh, we're gonna get to that one next, man. This is Ruth 2 and 4, and it says, "And behold, Boaz came from Bethlehem and said unto the reapers, The Lord be with you. And they answered him, Yahweh Barakatah, the Lord bless thee. Yahweh Shem Barakatah. Then said Boaz unto his servant that was set over the reapers, Whose damsel is this? And the servant that was set over the reapers answered and said, Is the Moabitish damsel that came back with Naomi out of the country of Moab. And she said, I pray you, let me glean and gather after the reapers among the sheaves. So she came and hath continued even from the morning until now, that she tarried a little in the house. Then said Boaz unto Ruth, Hear thou not, my daughter, go not to glean in another field, neither go from hence, but abide here fast by my maidens. Let thine eyes be on the field that they do reap, and go thou after them. Have I not charged the young men that they should not touch thee? All right, so he knew, he knew what goes down in the field, man. All right, and the women, you have no place in the field, man. You ain't supposed to be in the field. All right, that's why the whole dating and relationships and male female interaction, all that shit is Western and it's bullshit. All right, you women, you don't have any game. All right, you don't have any game, man. You want to be scandalous. You want to go into every club, open your bow to every quiver, because you don't have any discipline. All right, the scriptures talk about keep a watch over a shameless daughter. A lot of these situations, especially with our women that they go through, is because they were being shameless and they got caught up in the situation. All right, and if that's the case, then what you get an abortion for? You made a decision, live with that decision. All right, but we know that that's not the case. The scriptures say, what does it say? It's a shame. We're going to end it off with Wisdom of Solomon, probably. Right, Sirach 42. And I think I quoted it, but here's the whole one. Verse 9, it says, The father waketh for his daughter, when no man knoweth, and the care for her taketh away sleep, when she is young, lest she pass away the flower of her age, and being married, lest she should be hated. All right, and all these things, again, relationships and all that, all these things were dictated by the father, all right? And he would marry his daughter to a man he knew, was somebody of integrity, all right? That's what he was supposed to do. All right, a lot of these situations, that's one of the reasons they took the men out of the house and gave these women power, because he knew there would be chaos. All right, this is a capitalist system, man. They did that to capitalize, and they pushed that heavy in Jake's community, man. They showed up, they actually came, to make sure it wasn't a man in the house. All right, and I done heard stories where some of my family members, they didn't beat up the social workers, and shortly after, they stopped coming. But the fact that they tried that shit, right? That was Esau. It says, in her virginity, lest she should be defiled. And gotten with child, because it was a shame for a woman, for her to be married and not have children. And when no fucking this shit, you just run to the abortion clinic, man. And when they squeeze those children out, they use those children. I think they have to sign some kind of waiver saying that, they can use it for science or some shit. And then, there you go with the weird stuff, man. The experimentation and all that stuff. And a lot of these women too, they'll have demons on them after that. They'll hear the voices of crying children after they have abortions. A lot of women have said that. All right, it says, in her virginity, lest she should be defiled and gotten with child in her father's house, and having an husband, lest she should misbehave herself, and when she is married, lest she should be barren. Right. So you ain't supposed to be barren. All right, the womb is supposed to produce. Children are supposed to come. In this kingdom, though, you deal with some of these women, you got, some different brothers deal differently, man. I say it like that. It says, keep a sure watch over a shameless daughter, lest she make thee a laughing stock to thine enemies, and a byword in the city, and a reproach among the people, and make thee ashamed before the multitude, right? And that's what's going on with our women, man. Esau's using them. He tried to use them to embarrass us, man. All that RESPEC, all that dumb shit. Bitch, we trying to fight for the rights of our nation. These motherfuckers is trying to kill us. They're trying to kill our whole families off. All right? They're trying to destroy us. They done bombed us, put us in slavery, beat us, hung us, all this shit. All right? But Esau pushed that wave, man. He made sure they pushed that. Yeah, you go, girls. Yeah, sister. You show them. Yeah. That's why they included our women into that whole, into the whole feminism thing. All right, now all this shit is backfiring. Now they're considering, man, we got to reverse this. Nah, man, the birth rates are low. Nah, man, we got to stop. They didn't already started introducing, the alphabet lifestyle. So that takes away. And you would think with all that, man, alphabet lifestyle and low birth rates, and you got all these men in jail, you would think that these women would act right. You know what I'm saying? But no, you're going to be proud until, it's time for you to be humble. All right. See, closing off, there was another one I was looking for, but that's okay. The point was made. This is Wisdom of Solomon 1. It says, I myself am a mortal man, like to all, and the offspring of him that was first made of the earth. And in my mother's womb was fashioned to be flesh in the time of 10 months, being compacted in blood of the seed of man, exactly the seed of man. And the pleasure that came with sleep. And that's what the honor of the Father is, man. He put that seed inside of your mother. He created you. Right? Honor thy father, honor thy mother. Right? When I was born, I drew in the common air and fell upon the earth, which is of like nature. Yep. And the first voice which I uttered was crying, as all others do. All right, and that's the process of life. I was nursed and swaddling clothed, and that with cares. For there is no king that had any of the beginning of birth. All right, so, and all praises, glory, and honor to Yahweh Shem Yahushai. Now, this isn't to say, we have baby fever or whatever, because ultimately, man, the kingdom is the time for that, man. Right now, we're at war. All right, so Yahweh Shem Yahushai will guide you how he will. But, yeah, man, that shit was a bad idea anyway. But that's what you Edomites get who fell into that trap, man. And that's what you niggas get who go, and seek Egypt to help. There you go. All right, just like they tried to do Moses, they're going to try to do you the same way. right? Let it be a lesson to you. Shalom.